wow, I am so honored to be here. Well, a little about me. I'm the president of Pink Cross Foundation, which is a nonprofit organization located right here in Bakersfield, California. And we reach out to the porn industry, and we rescue women out of porn. We'll help the guys too, but mainly it's the women who come to us for help. We also fight pornography in the legal system, from anything to safety and health, to sex trafficking, labor laws. Let's just say I'm doing everything I can that God told me to do to take this multi-billion-dollar lie down. And so today I'm going to educate you about the truth behind porn. It's interesting to note I was in the sex industry 8 years in prostitution, stripping, and pornography. As a man sows, so he reaps. So you can imagine, I find it interesting that it took me 8 years to recover. During those 8 years, I had been with too many people to count sexually, and I took on all their junk. So a lot of people wonder why after they watch pornography that they're depressed, they're sexually acting out, they're, all these different emotions, shame, guilt that you're going through, carrying this baggage. I know men who feel isolated, boys who feel isolated, they're depressed, they can't figure out what's wrong. And I'm like, you're joining yourself to prostitutes who are depressed and isolated and hate their lives and are suicidal. Every time you view pornography, you do become one flesh with what you're watching. Next. So I kind of want you to understand, when you view pornography, what you are uniting yourself with or joining with. I want to talk about porn star deaths. Since 2007, 119 porn stars have died prematurely, and that's just the ones we know of. 7 died from AIDS, 24 died from drugs, 19 died from suicide, 17 were murdered, 6 were accidental, which most likely is alcohol or drug related. 39 died prematurely from medical conditions. 7 died from causes unknown. Over 125 porn stars have died from AIDS since 1988. Let's look at the average lifespan for porn stars. When the deaths of 129 porn performers over a period of roughly 20 years were analyzed, it was discovered that there was an unusually large number of premature death from causes such as drugs, suicide, murder, alcohol abuse, accidental death, and disease. It was also discovered that the average life expectancy of a porn performer is only 37.43 years old, whereas the average life expectancy of an American like you and me is 78.1 years old. They're dying at almost half our age. Let's talk about what else you're uniting yourself with when you view pornography. Sexually transmitted diseases. And I work very closely with the Los Angeles County Department of Public Health, and they put out a report in September of 2009, and in that report, they've been monitoring the porn industry since 2003. There's a porn star clinic, and of course, when STDs come through, that porn star clinic would send the results to the public health department. They discovered that porn stars are 10 times more likely to be infected with a sexually transmitted diseases than members of the population at large, and that's in Los Angeles County. 2013 cases of chlamydia and 965 cases of gonorrhea among porn performers just between 2003 and 2007. And there's only about 2,000 porn stars in the mainstream porn. And out of those 2,000, there's maybe 100 male porn stars. It's mostly a female population of porn stars. They're the ones getting all of these STD infections. This isn't me speaking. This is the LA County Department of Public Health. Porn stars suffer multiple infections, with some performers having 4 or more infections in a year. Chlamydia and gonorrhea among porn stars is 10 times greater than that of Los Angeles County 20 to 24-year-olds. They are the most diseased group of people in the entire world. I also want you to understand, not only is the porn industry filled with death and rampant STDs, because I want you to understand the situation. There's no condoms allowed, okay? And condoms don't protect all sexual diseases anyways, but definitely they're not allowed because people who view porn don't want to see porn with condoms. So they force these young girls to have sex without a condom, and they're all spreading HIV and herpes. In fact, that same doctor admitted that 66% of the porn stars, which is mainly females, have herpes. They get to live with herpes the rest of their lives. And these are the people that, if you click on porn and view it, you are contributing to their sexually transmitted diseases, you are contributing to their deaths, their premature deaths, and you are also contributing to sex trafficking. According to the U.S. federal law in Title 18, this is sex trafficking defined. Any adult who is recruiting, enticing, harboring, transporting, providing, or obtaining an adult for commercial sex act through force, fraud, or coercion, that is sex trafficking. All of the women in porn are forced, coerced, or defrauded. You just saw the fraudulent porn star clinic they all had to go to since 1998. 18, 19, 20 years old are getting into the porn industry by pornographers who hunt them down on social media. I bet there's some girls in here who've been hunted down. They're going to your social media. Boy, you're so pretty. Ooh, you should fly to Los Angeles and become a model. Oh, you could be, oh, is it nude modeling? Oh, of course not. It's just bikini modeling. It's going to be great. Fly to Los Angeles. You're thinking, wow, the beach. Especially for those Midwestern girls, they really get, wow, I get to go to California. And they fly in there, and I know because I rescue these girls, and I was there, and they literally fly them to a dumpy hotel where there's about 5 or 6 male performers and several camera crew, and they rape her. And they make a movie out of it, and they put it on the internet, and they tell her if she says one word about it, they'll send that movie to her family. They threaten these girls every single day. Pornographers entice young girls. Entice is another word. You don't think we've all been enticed? Here's some fame, here's some money, here's some glamour. You're going to be the next biggest, hottest porn star. It's your test, then you go to the nice little porn star clinic. We promise we keep the adult entertainment industry safe. Fraudulent agents and pornographers lie about the work conditions. They don't tell the girls the works or the workplace laws. Most of these movies are filmed in private locations on a mostly older male set. So girls, like maybe there'll be 2 18-year-old girls and maybe about 10 30 to 40-year-old men who are intimidating. These girls go on the set and they're like, I didn't say I would do that. They're like, oh, you're doing it. Because if you don't, we're going to sue you. We're going to physically hurt you, or we're going to send your porn to your parents and your family. This is what it is every single day in the porn industry. Even the contract girls will tell you how much they love it. We're all forced to say things. We're all groomed and trained. And yet the whole world is looking at porn. So every time you click on porn, you're also contributing to abuse in the workplace. They don't even keep the laws. So now that I've given you kind of a background about what the porn industry is about, think about this too. There's 11,000 porn films released a year versus Hollywood's 400 films a year. So those girls are behind the camera a lot, and they know how to lie to you. We are paid to do it. We are trained to do it. Most of these girls have what I call the classic porn star background, come from sexual abuse, parents who didn't care. I mean, I always ask them, where's your parents? Oh, they don't care about me. Or they have sexual abuse when they were children. Like I talked earlier in the Bible class, 70% of young girls in the United States have been sexually abused. So what's happening is this culture is so hypersexualized that it's destroying literally everyone involved. Porn doesn't do anything good for anyone. It's definitely not healthy. It won't help your sex life. It won't help your marriage in the future. In fact, it will destroy you. I'm going to share a little bit of my story with you. Give me grace. It's not easy to stand up here and tell you my story. Anyways, after doing about 30 movies of being subjected to violence, sex trafficking, drugs and alcohol, oh yeah, we snorted meth on the set. Of course, nobody does porn sober. That's ridiculous. We're all getting high. We have to. In fact, there are 2 doctors in the San Fernando Valley that are in conspiracy with the multi-billion-dollar porn industry, and when those girls can't get through their hardcore scenes, they go get Vicodin. Prozac, Norcos, Xanax. These girls come to my house, they just dump all their drugs out. And I go, all right, which one are we going to get rid of first? So they get street drugs and they get prescription drugs. And that's why so many of them die so young. Remember I told you how many died? No other industry has more suicide rates or high death rates from drugs, homicide, AIDS than the porn industry. Well, after about 30 movies, I got burned and I caught 2 sexually transmitted diseases. And I was devastated. I tried to commit suicide because I didn't want to live anymore. I was tired. I looked at God and I said, you don't care that you would let this happen to me. And when I heard that I had a non-curable disease, that was it for me. And I tried to kill myself, and fortunately, God saved me through that. I had my stomach pumped, and I can't tell you how many times I tried to kill myself. I have scars over both wrists. That's how much I hated that life. And porn was the worst. It was the worst. And so after I left porn quietly, I just went, there's no reason to live anymore. I've got this kid, and I have herpes and human papillomavirus, which later led to me having cervical cancer. And I had to have half of my cervix removed. I've also had 3 miscarriages and 1 ectopic pregnancy because my reproduction organs were so damaged. I'm blessed I even have some children. This is the porn industry. And most of these women in porn usually have 3 to 5 abortions for about a 2-year work span. Abortion is so prevalent, it breaks my heart. I just go, pfft. And a lot of them now, their reproductive organs are so screwed up, they can't have children. Too late, they killed their babies. And you know what? Does anybody care about these people? Everybody will use them and watch the porn, masturbate to them. But yet we just throw these people out. We don't care about them. I want to talk to you a little bit about, before I leave, about the youth porn statistics, because I want you to know what's going on. I work with a lot of government agencies and doctors and like the most elite people in the world who fight pornography, and these statistics are pretty accurate. And they're all found usually in studies or scientific studies. So the first one is, think about this, and 93% of boys and 62% of girls are exposed to porn before age 18. That is so sad. 69% of boys have seen porn showing same-sex intercourse. In fact, there was a study just done recently that straight men who view pornography are more tolerant of same-sex marriage and homosexuality, but that's because they're looking at naked men. 39% of boys and 23% of girls have seen online sex involving bondage, and 32% of boys and 18% of girls have seen bestiality on the internet. You guys are looking at some really bad stuff. Remember, you're uniting with whatever you're watching. And this is very true that pornography actually leads to crime. You can ask a lot of prisoners. Ted Bundy did a really good interview you could look up online. And he said the reason he became a serial killer is it started with pornography. 18% of boys and 10% of girls have seen rape. 15% of boys and 9% of girls have seen child pornography. And only 3% of boys and 17% of girls have not seen internet pornography. Only 3% of you have not seen internet pornography. That when you click to view porn, every time you click on porn, you are contributing to the destruction of human lives. Every time you click on porn, you are promoting sex trafficking and child pornography. Every time you click to view porn, you unite yourself with sexually diseased, suicidal, drug-addicted prostitutes, and you become one flesh with them, and you are in harmony with them.